Hi, how are you, my dear students? I take this opportunity to wrap up the year, which we won't be able to have time maybe do it properly in class. And also, I'm making up the class that we missed, and it's going to be on based on two videos. One right now, the one you're seeing right now, and another one with a presentation, in where I cover basically the tools of influence. Um, and of human beings, because human beings are motivated sometimes by sublime and more um, sophisticated things, but sometimes we're motivated by very basic uh, things like reciprocity, like I mentioned before. But before I go into that, I just want to tell you, if I don't have the time to do that in person, because we're going to be busy, the last week and everything, that I've enjoyed having this class with you, that I hope the best for your career. That it has been, in my opinion, a wonderful semester. And I've tried to give you all that I have, the best that I have, using my experience and my knowledge, and as well as, some of the stuff in this textbook. But the textbook you can always read. You can always download a PDF and you have it already and read. So the purpose of a professor these days, with all the technology there is outside, and YouTube channel, and so many things you can learn on yourself, the purpose of a professor should be a guide, and to give you stuff that you're not going to get in a textbook. Or at least you're going to have a hard time finding information like that elsewhere, or a YouTube video that hasn't been created yet. So this is the idea still, uh, with a professor, but things are changing, and I'm learning. For example, um, with videos, YouTube has been lately my best friend, and I'm learning with. And I give you this consideration, please. Consider Coursera and edX and Udemy, to a certain point, as platforms that can help you in your professional development. Sometimes you won't be able to enroll formally in a university, but you want to know in your next job about sales, about marketing, and your new position. Sorry, calls for knowledge of advanced Excel, and you don't have the time, and traffic and whatever, to enroll in a formal training program. And the word formal is not the right choice of words, really, because we have formal training programs online now. So there's really no excuse. Right now, I'm using technology to give you the information that I want you to have. And basically, the other message that I want to give you is that estoy a la orden, whatever you guys need. And you know where to reach me. If not, I'll make sure you have my emails and all my information, and my webpage. You know where it is alejandrovogel.com, and you can just follow me there, whatever. But the idea is to have a long-term relationship, not only as a professor a semester, but also that you guys can come back and see my videos and whatever, and just call me and chat me anytime. So what I want to talk about, going back to the course material, is that, as I told you, we have, and Alex, you know this about the Abraham Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy of needs. And yes, we have the more sublime and the more um, complex needs are met at the top of the pyramid. But before we get there, we have to meet the more basic needs like food, shelter, reproduction, and then we go up the pyramid into things like shelter and social needs. And then eventually we get self-realization, which is a more sublime. Some people go directly to that point, like the the Hindu gurus that meditate all the time. Of course, they need food every day, so it's like okay, they've met that part, but they really jump, and don't go directly um, to the self. They go directly. I'm sorry, to the self realization, instead of going to the social part. They jump that part. because they believe going directly to the more uh, uh, mystical and long lasting eternal things. But that's not the majority. The majority of the people go through that hierarchy of needs, meeting first the most basic, and then if you know that, you can know how to motivate people within your organization. And we know that for a fact that people are not, once they've met their basic needs of shelter, food, money, whatever, education, there's in economics we call it diminishing returns. I don't know if you remember that, but it's for additional unit of um, of investment in money terms, we get less returns in whatever we're measuring. It could be money, it could be anything. In this case, I'm calling diminishing returns of life satisfaction. So there's a point in which more money doesn't necessarily mean more satisfaction. So if you know that, you can uh, motivate your people with the right things. Because some people say, "Well, I'm giving them more money, and they're not motivated. They're not selling more. What do these people want? I don't understand." And it's because leaders and managers don't necessarily understand how the mind works, and it's necessary to understand how the mind works if you're going to work in an organization. The other thing you got to remember about organizations is that hierarchies are natural. If we put, we all go, our class, you guys and me, into a cave, and we are there for a month. At the end of the month, we're going to see leaders that we wouldn't necessarily have predicted that they were. So a hierarchy would form naturally, and I wouldn't necessarily be the leader just because I'm the teacher. We would form natural hierarchy, natural structures of authority. I'm sure there's somebody would be a priest, and other people would be a doctor, and then we have followers too. People don't want to lead anyone, but want to follow because they feel comfortable that way. So organizations work the same way. Some people try to avoid the fact that human beings really are responding to the need of having a hierarchy. Even communism has tried to, and maybe Cairo will be against this, but um, communism has tried to, or not against it, but I mean, he's going to have an opinion, obviously. Um, not against well, I'm sorry, that communism has tried to put away or get away with the so-called caste system, or the that the Hindus use, but a class system. But they come up with new classes, and then you have Cuba, you have the ruling class, you have the military, you have the government bureaucrats, and then eventually the people. So you do have a hierarchy, you do have classes, except you call them differently. So human beings have a tendency to do that. Completely flat organizations don't exist. So if you understand that phenomenon, you'll be able to see and manage your organization in a better way. So it's something that I want you to remember in organizational behavior. We tend to form organizational structures naturally, whether it's given to us in a piece of paper in an organizational chart, or we form them informally. Even when we're given a formal organizational chart, we don't necessarily follow it. We follow the natural order. And that is, we have natural leaders, natural followers, natural motivators, and we have the person who everyone wants to have contact with because it motivates them, or the person we all go to because they have good advice. And that becomes kind of the shaman of the tribe. So it's an important message that I want to give you about organizations. Um, and we have two concepts that we have to cover before the end of the year, and one of them is in this coming video that you're going to see, where I talk about more basic motivation and persuasion and actually manipulation, sometimes used as manipulation tools in human behavior, by corporations, and we use them in a more subtle way, which is what I want to really get across, a subtle and ethical way. Yeah, it is something that we all respond to as human beings because our hypothalamus is there, but we can use it in a more ethical way, and that is a challenge we're all going to have. I can't ensure that you're going to use it ethically. I trust that you guys, because I know you and you will. But this information is free for everyone who wants to use it. And there's some people that have used it on us unethically. So if, at the very least, you're going to know how people are using it to manipulate you. And if you can avoid that or be aware of it, that is going to help you a whole bunch. So right now, I want to go to the next video in which I continue with the Weapons of Influence by Robert Cialdini. He is the authority in the field. I am not, but he is, and therefore I'm going to share his thoughts. We already covered reciprocity, but I'm going to go over it a little bit just to make sure you guys understand the concept. And it's good that we have it in a recording, because then you're going to go back to it as often as you want. Well, thank you again. And I will say goodbye in person, and take care, and let's listen to the next video, see how it goes.